Zimbabwe cash crisis worse.
Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor you do with this thing right here called monetary independence.
Hey there, hope all is well. Back at you today with some more RT News updates. And as you can tell from today's title, we're going to be talking about the massive salary layoffs around this country, as well as the increasing number of people protesting for a higher living wage. And so today I have a couple articles I want to thumb through, just to give you an idea of what's happening across this country as we draw towards the end of this year, where we're being told that there's some type of economic expansion. But in reality, there's more of a crunch on corporations to increase their profit, as well as the dividend payouts for shareholders, in an environment where easy money seems to be going away now that the Federal Reserve is looking to increase interest rates. So let's dive into today's articles. But before that, as always,
I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button along with the notification tab to be informed of future updates as well as live streams. Also join me on Twitter, where I share posts throughout the day on various subject matters dealing with our monetary system, as well as whatever's happening in the news that I can't get to via video. Make sure you click the button down below to be notified when things are posted.
So as I mentioned, I have a couple articles dealing with the massive layoffs of salaried employees, as well as on the other end, we have the unskilled labor sector asking for a higher wage in order to sustain themselves, as opposed to having to have 2 or 3 jobs to do such. And it's very interesting as we draw to the end of this year with less than 90 days left, that we're hearing more and more issues such as the labor market, as we're being told that unemployment is at an all-time high, as well as the idea that the jobs numbers every month seem to be so favorable for the Main Street economy. But in the real world, with all these layoffs as well as protests, lets me know that something is not right. And this is something that should definitely be worth paying attention to as we get ready to enter into 2019, where a lot of economists and whatnot predict that it could be an economic slowdown, which will definitely be felt in the job sector. So as always, you can find the articles that we're going to share here today. And I want to encourage you to take time to read them for yourself to become more familiar with what's happening inside of them. I just want to scan the surface and give you something to think about. And then as always, share my thoughts with you at the very end. So the very first article here is out of the Detroit Free Press, and it says Ford tighten operations, cut salaried workforce. And to give you an idea what's going on here, it says Ford Motor Company confirmed Friday plans to reorganize its salaried workforce worldwide, says flatten its business operations and create a more efficient company that results in fewer white-collar jobs overall. Says the largest car manufacturer employer in America said Ford has more than 85,000 U.S. employees and 201,000 globally, including an estimated 70,000 salaried workers. So if you go through this article, it gives you more idea as to how this will shape out. But more importantly, what I noted at the very bottom was a quote given from an economist, and it says, some industry observers wonder about the slow rollout of Ford's plan, which will continue until spring 2019. So these layoffs will be going into next year. It says, quote, talk about dragging things out and maximizing anxiety and agony for employees. It says, I have never seen such a dragged out process in all my years in the industry, said John Crambleson, a market economist who advises automakers and auto suppliers. It says, quote, this will absolutely hurt Ford by having no one do much of anything for as long as it lasts, and hurt local Metro Detroit consumption, as no one dare buy anything lest they lose their jobs, unquote. He also said, and this is what I find to be very interesting, quote, and that will not be limited to Ford employees. Any employee of any automaker or supplier and anyone working in support roles will also recognize they could be the next company to begin layoffs. So we're talking about the entire manufacturing base here that could be at stake with these layoffs here. Very next article is also from Detroit Free Press. It says Ford idled 2,000 Kansas City plant workers as sales fluctuate. Give you an idea what's going on here. It says about 2,000 Ford factory workers at the Kansas City assembly plant in Missouri will be temporarily laid off from October 22nd to November 4th. So that's more Ford cuts that will impact the assembly line directly. So more information if you're interested in reading for yourself. Next article here is from Forbes, and it says Verizon lays off 44,000, transfer 2,500 more IT jobs to India, Outsourcer and Infosys. So there's more information there, but more important, it says earlier this week, Verizon confirmed that it offered a voluntary severance package to about 44,000 employees and that it will transfer about 2,500 IT jobs. Some rumors suggest the figure to be closer to 5,000 employees to an Indian-based corporation as part of a $700 million outsourcing deal. So here we have Verizon, massive layoffs. Next article here. From San Diego, Local 7, it says, locals in first round of layoffs as Mattress Firm files for bankruptcy. So here we have the idea that on Friday, the mattress retailer filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and announced it will immediately close 700 of its 3,300 stores by the end of this year. So within the next 90 days, 700 stores will be closed, with about 5 to 10 or so probably per store, which could equal 5 to 6, 7,000 people unemployed. So more information there if you're interested in reading it. Next article here is from out in New Mexico. It says major healthcare company gives notice 381 layoffs. So as you scroll through here, it gives more information as to other healthcare providers throughout the state of New Mexico that's also having layoffs. So at the very bottom here, it throws all types of figures of other companies in that state that's also laying off people. So more information if you're interested, read for yourself. Next one here is from Housing Wire. It says, watch. It says, Movement Mortgage CEO explains recent staff layoffs. And so scroll down a little bit and give you an idea what the CEO of his company is saying. It says Crawford's message to his employees. It says a tight mortgage market made these cuts necessary in order for the company to thrive in the future. It says, quote, I'm hurting. I feel sad. I feel like I let some folks down yesterday, unquote. Crawford tells his people, I don't like a marketplace constrained. So here we have a mortgage industry that had to do some layoffs. So just very telling of where we're at all around. Next one here is from Chicago Tribune. It says Nokia lays off in Naperville, hit 300 for the year as part of ongoing staff cuts. So here we have Nokia laying off more people, and it's been done throughout the year in segments. So more information there if you're interested in reading for yourself. Next article here is from TV6 out of Chicago. It says over 50 people cited in Chicago for protesting for higher wages for fast food workers. So here we have the Fight for 15 movement, which is picking up speed as more people hit to the streets demanding higher wages. So little article there if you're interested in reading for yourself. Next one here is from Crane's Detroit Business. It says, Westin Book Cadillac workers demand downtown standard wages as strike continues. So here is an article from my hometown here. So we have a lot of hotel workers across the country, predominantly under the Marriott chain, protesting for a higher wage. And if you thumb through here, it gives you an idea as to why and what. And so it appears to be that between $11 and $14 an hour is what they're receiving. And they're showing comparisons as to other hotel chains, how they're paying more. But yet, at the very bottom of this, it talks about how the $15 minimum wage may not be enough. They probably want $20 an hour. So just more details as to what's happening in the hotel sector with all these protests. And then the very last article here is from The Hill, and it says, in search of real, not nominal wage gains. So I thought this one here is the most important because it actually lays out how monetary policy plays a major role in the demands for higher wages, especially the fact that not too many people understand how our monetary system operates. So the very first portion of this gives you an idea as to how they calculate nominal and real wages. But yet, if you feel like reading it, do so for yourself. But at the end of the day, we're experiencing the point where monetary and fiscal policy is starting to collide. And so as the Federal Reserve continue to raise interest rates, they have to maintain the facade that they have to keep inflation at about 2% and that they don't want the economy to start running hot. So they can't afford to have real nominal wages increase because that will be more inflationary. So what we're witnessing now is the idea that monetary policy is really beginning to alter and to play a major part in how people are starting to feel it, the tightness in their pockets, as well as how corporations will need to respond in the days ahead as their profits are cut into by the demand for higher wages. Then you factor in on the fiscal side of things how we have that U.S. and China trade war right now, which will definitely play a major part in the idea of more corporations not being able to sell a lot of their products domestically as well as internationally, or the cost of those goods going up, which will just be passed on to the consumers that need to buy those goods, which will eventually lead to more layoffs down the line on the corporate side of things. So here we have the idea that we're coming towards the end of this monetary experiment, in my opinion, and it's just a matter of time before people really begin to question why and how things are crumbling from the very foundation of itself. And so we're supposed to be in an economic expansion. God forbid that things do slow down like a lot of people predict. And I believe in the next couple of months, especially heading in 2019, we're going to continue to see more layoffs all around, as well as more people who were salaried employees that will be unemployed, then also competing with the people who are looking for higher wages or living wages, as well as all those fictitious numbers in reference to the whole unemployment rate nowadays being at all-time highs. So in the next couple months, we're going to see the real unfolding of the truth in reference to the idea that wages have not been keeping up with the cost of living. in the same time as people become more concerned with being able to retain their jobs, not to mention the average cost of living and things of that nature. So other than that, I would love to hear your thoughts on this matter. Leave a comment down below, give this video a thumbs up, and share this with your family and friends so more people can find out the impact of monetary and fiscal policy in these days as employment as well as wages are under threat and before it comes to your front door. Other than that, look forward to bringing you more news. I'll see you later.
The next recession.
Recession will be.
Will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months, but a lot of things about this particular one have not been typical. So
a crash is coming now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
I go to bed every night, I dream of another recession. If you know what to do, if you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.